All is not going well with Mercedes. This drama-filled season has seen them unable to hit the highs of the past, with a pole position finish evading them so far. They have struggled with uncomfortable bouncing issues with their drivers and accused fellow F1 teams of being pitiful. And now it appears the new FIA rules may be the kryptonite to Toto Wolff's already struggling season. Even with the clock ticking, Mercedes is yet to find a solution to its car, and the fans are asking, what's going on? Do Mercedes have a plan for the rest of the season? And what about next season? Stick around to find out. Toto Wolff feels Mercedes' struggles this season demonstrate how well F1's financial cap is working, since its team cannot pay its way out of its problems. Wolff described his team's qualifying performance in particular as the worst he had seen in his 10-year participation in the sport. Unlike past seasons when all teams could spend as much as they wished to repair faults, they are now bound by a budget limitation imposed last year for precisely the circumstance in which the German manufacturer finds itself. Mercedes cannot test as many concepts as it would have before to discover a solution. When asked about the problems of not being able to experiment owing to the cap, Wolff responded, "Consider the chassis. We wouldn't be able to launch one at this point in the season. We could go for being tremendously overweight, which we haven't been able to figure out since we're experimenting with pieces on the car to tackle our numerous problems, so we can't afford it." Finish. The cost cap was intended to achieve that the larger clubs couldn't just throw money at it. The budget cap has been brought in to even out the playing field, seeing that not many teams would have the money to make specific improvements to their car, allowing them to design the best car. It would also prohibit large spenders from winning the championship solely on the basis of their spending power rather than their driving ability. Due to surging inflation and increased energy and freight expenses, the cap has been a thorn in the side of most clubs this season. Although the FIA just approved a $4.3 million increase this season, coming under budget is still expected to be challenging for the top teams like Mercedes, Ferrari and Red Bull. To that end, teams have been looking for methods to decrease costs, which has led Mercedes to invest in sustainable aviation fuel, SAF. It is part of Mercedes' quest to cut CO2 emissions further and attain net zero status in the future, keeping with the sport's overall goal of achieving such a status by the end of this decade. SAF is a renewable or waste-derived aviation fuel that the International Civil Aviation Organization believes will significantly lower future international aviation emissions. Mercedes admits that the purchase of SAF and its role in decreasing aviation emissions exempts it from the cost cap, allowing savings on flights to and from racing venues and other corporate air travel. On an environmental level, the team can reduce its racing team personnel's air travel footprint by nearly half. Sustainable aviation fuel has the potential to alter the way we travel and the influence we have on the environment, stated team principal Toto Wolff. "This is a topic that I think about a lot, both personally and professionally. I fly a lot and the crew also flies a lot. If we must fly, we must find a better method to do it, and SAF is the best answer now available to the aviation industry. We intend to be at the forefront of change, utilizing our global racing platform as a model for a more sustainable and diverse future." Toto Wolff concedes that the notion of Mercedes' upcoming season challenger is at a crossroads, with negotiations ongoing. This season, heavily altered regulations were implemented, with Mercedes taking a drastically different approach to other teams with their W13. The Silver Arrow's design was distinctive, with the W13 boasting highly unusual side pods dubbed Zero Pods with small air inlets as they sought a 9th Constructors' Championship in a row. On the other hand, Mercedes perhaps suffered the most from porpoising earlier in the season, a bouncing phenomenon connected with ground effect aerodynamics. Even though Mercedes claims to have solved the problem, the team has yet to win this season behind Red Bull and Ferrari in performance. So if Mercedes wants to make significant design modifications for its upcoming season challenger, it must first choose a direction. However, with the financial constraint, Mercedes understands that there will be little room for testing ahead of time. According to motorsport.com, Mercedes chief Wolff stated, "It's a tough scenario since we have a specific vision of a car. It's not like we can experiment a lot this year, just crank things out and test. So anything we select for next year must be carefully considered since our data does not provide us with the outcomes and does not correlate with reality. We have huge fluctuations in performance that we can't seem to control. How can you be confident that taking a choice for next year, whatever it may be, like changing the concept drastically, is the better option to go right now, because clearly we'll be starting a little bit further back. It's tough to define the notion. Is it the chassis in its current form? What exactly is it? Is it a weighted average? Is this the location for the mechanical and aero balance? Is it the notion of bodywork? All of the car's different pillars are being reviewed, and that might mean that some of it goes and some of it stays. And that's what we're looking at right now. Following speculations that Red Bull may launch a new lighter chassis later in the season, Ferrari principal Mattia Binotto has questioned the FIA's existing capacity to control their budget restriction. Most teams believe their competitors to be overweight at this point, with Wolff adding that this is also true for Mercedes, even though they would not be able to find a place in the budget cap to construct a new chassis. This could prove to be costly to both Mercedes' aspirations and ability to perform in the current season, again highlighting the impact of the budget cap. This clearly is an issue Mercedes will need to address in the future, but are unsure how to do it. Despite winning 15 of the past 16 F1 titles, Mercedes has struggled to take the lead with the W13 and has been hampered by porpoising early in the season. The team frequently underperforms in qualifying before producing decent race finishes, with Lewis Hamilton and George Russell only retiring once this season due to accident damage. Well, today we're getting it wrong. The lack of linkage in the many sectors is leading us to underperform, Wolff explained. Perhaps there is a single item that overshadows everything, and we're not doing it credit by questioning every component of the automobile. Are the new 18-inch tires something we fundamentally don't understand, and the rest is okay? Or is the aerodynamics or mechanical balance mucking things up? I think that's difficult to analyze. And as the saying goes, you never lose, you learn. I can tell you it's really terrible when you see all the wonderful Instagram images and everything we've spoken about over the last 8 years. How are we going to handle this? Mercedes does not win. When you enter the dungeon, you cling to your ideals and values, keep your spirit up, and continuously seek to improve. This year has more to write a book on than the previous 8. Wolff has disclosed Mercedes' approach to tracking the expense of each technological breakthrough. I can speak on our behalf. With the finance engineers, we have a tracker that keeps track of every single procedure and component installed to the single-seaters, Wolff told Motorsport.com's Italian edition. So as we unload stuff from the truck, the financial engineer notes the value counted when it is used. We are proceeding as we intended. During the start of the season, for various reasons, we did not provide many updates. Today, we are proceeding with the development program. When asked if he trusts the FIA's authority over whether teams stick to the financial cap, Wolff emphasized how any violation of the regulations would be analogous to a violation of technical problems. The regulation was already in place last year, and we will soon get the findings that will establish if everyone adhered to the guidelines, the team head said. I just feel that making mistakes is illegal, since breaching financial restrictions is the same as breaking technical ones. Mercedes has unquestionably withstood the test of time. Even though the FIA's regulations have never seemed to favor Mercedes, do you believe the FIA should boost the cap budget? Comment below.